Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. And thank you so much, Beverly, for putting this back. I like to lean on it when I speak. It's funny, when we are children, everyone is always asking us, what do we want to be when we grow up? And it goes on and on. When you're in college, people say, what do you want to do when you get out of school? Until we start heading toward retirement, and then people say, well, what are you going to do when you retire? Well, my father said that he would come when we were getting together for Christmas in 1982. He said that he had an announcement. He was going to tell us what he was going to do when he retired from his job as a chemical engineer at a research institute. He had been a research chemist for 30-some years and had testified before Congress on corrosion issues. And we were thinking, okay. And he said that he was having my mother's sister come also to our house for Christmas, and we thought, well, that'll be fun. And we kind of thought, well, maybe Dad and Aunt Nellie are going to get together. Mother had been dead for 30-some years, and this was her sister. And we were thinking, So we were all together, and we said, okay, well, what's your announcement? We want to hear your announcement. Tell us your announcement. And he said, well, I've decided I'm going to become a priest. That was the reaction we all had. Total, complete silence. And we all went kind of, what? Finally, as the oldest present, I said, well, have you talked to someone? Is this possible? Have you spoken to the bishop or anything? And he started talking about it. Yes, he talked to the bishop of South Dakota. He was living in South Dakota at the time. And he was initially trying to get him to become a deacon, but Dad said no, he really wanted to become a priest. And he had 2 brothers that were priests, so it was kind of a family tradition. And we thought, okay. We said, well, we talked about it for a few minutes, and we decided, well, we had planned to go to the movies, not my dad, not my aunt, but everybody else in this. We all got, my sister, my brother, and I, and a nephew. We got in the car, we drove about 3 blocks from the house, and we went, a priest! He's going to become a priest! We were totally, completely shocked. And then, not that we weren't Catholic, of course we were Catholic, and we all went to church, but still, you don't expect your father to become a priest. Well, all right, he retires from his job as a chemical engineer. He just goofed off for one whole day. And then he went to the seminary. He entered the seminary and had to give away all of his furniture, because he wound up going from a house to a dorm room. My sister and I bought him for Christmas that year a boombox so he could listen to his baseball games. He was a big baseball fan. And we told him, all right, now this was 1984, you understand that. We said, well, you can take it and get down on the corner with the Bloods and listen to the radio, listen to your music. And he thought that was really funny. But he went to the seminary. Now, that Christmas, he came to see us. We picked him up at the airport. He's on crutches. We're like, what happened? Well, actually, my brother had called and warned us that he had been playing. He was on the team, the volleyball team at the seminary. Now, he's 65 years old. He's on the volleyball team at the seminary. He broke his leg at the knee. He said the most horrible part of it was that the young guy and he made the shot. He was careful to tell us that he made the shot, even though he broke his leg. But he said the worst part of it was that the guy that landed on his leg and it broke it kept saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Because he was in a wheelchair for a while and on and on. But he recovered. He was on the volleyball team the next year. He graduated with a master's degree in theology, and he was ordained in 1986, December 4th, in Casper, Wyoming. Now, whenever you do something unusual, and he was 68 years old at the time when he was ordained, everyone has an opinion. And of course, the Wyoming diocese was criticized for ordaining someone so old. Why, it was pointless and blah, 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 and how he's only going to serve for a few years. Well, my father served the Wyoming diocese as a priest for 21 years. And for the first 15 years, he handled 2 parishes, drove 60 miles every Sunday to say Mass in 2 different parishes, and the women's prison, counseled the women there. He never actually retired. He collapsed at the age of 89 and hurt his back. His heart faltered a bit and he hurt his back, so he had to stop working. Until then, he didn't stop working. So he spent 2 years, unfortunately bedridden. He was a quadriplegic for 2 years. But amazingly enough, he still counseled people, because when they would come to see him, they would tell him their troubles, and he would talk about, he was always cheerful. Now, I don't know about you, but I would find it very difficult to be cheerful in a quadriplegic state. But he was always cheerful, and he kept up the father, dad. That's what we decided to, his kids, we all decided to call him Father, Dad. Father, Father was a little cumbersome. Yeah. And the honorific for priests is Father. So we decided, okay, we would call him Father, Dad. And when he was, his parish now doesn't have a priest, but someone from Nigeria came and was working in the parish and said that he had heard that the Wyoming diocese, he had heard about this priest being ordained at the age of 68, and he found it very inspiring, and he was amazed that he would someday be in the same parish as the person that was ordained at the age of 68. My father was an inspiration to people and helped a lot of people. The church has gone through a lot of strange, to me I think are strange things, helped a lot of people deal with annulments and coming back into the church and straightening out their varied marital history and dealing with divorce and things like that. And of course, a lot of people felt it easier to talk to my father since he had been married. And he had raised 5 children. People actually asked me, when he gets ordained, are you going to disappear? I said, I don't think it's retroactive, but we'll see. So I don't think that this is at this point with the church's teachings, this is not an option for me when I decide to retire, but it was an inspiration certainly to find a new career at the age of 65. Thank you.